Hello, thank you for joining us on this exciting work we are doing for Strada Education Network with the Values Education Survey. This video is to help assist you on the process to share the necessary information from your institution. In this short video, I will walk you through how to get onto the secure FTP site with your login credentials, how to navigate the FTP site, documents to download and upload, and other places to share information. We recommend that you watch this video in its entirety prior to completing the tasks to ensure that all necessary information is shared. Okay, so let's start with talking about how to get onto the site itself. So when you submitted your MSA to Strada, you should have received a document that looks like this, which is titled Strada Value Education Survey FTP Login Instructions with your school name included at some point. If you don't have that, please email Strada and they'll be happy to share it with you. But let's assume that you've got this document open, and so this is the first page. If you scroll down to the second page, you'll see a website link and then a username and password. You will obviously have a username here and a password. But what you're going to need to do is just click on this link, make note of your username and your password first, and then click on the link, and it's going to take you to a landing page, which is the location of where you can upload all of your documents and where you'll find things to download. Now that you have reached the landing page, you should see something that looks like this. Please enter the information that was at the top of your Strada Education Survey FTP login instruction document. Please note, passwords and usernames are case sensitive. Now that you have logged in, you should see this screen with 3 folders. The first is deliverables. This is where your final deliverables, such as your PowerPoint report and data files, will be uploaded once field is done. As you can see, this is empty for now. The second is your Upload Materials Here folder. This is where you will upload one of the files we are going to discuss shortly once you have completed it. But for now, let's click on the Templates folder. Within this folder, you will see 3 documents. A survey sample template. This will be where you eventually upload the document that goes into the Upload Materials Here folder. The material checklist, which you should have received, but if you haven't, we would recommend downloading that now. And the pre-notification template. So now you've pretty much seen all there is to see on the FTP site, but let's jump into the materials checklist to show what information we're going to need and where you can share it. If you don't already have the material checklist document, you're going to want to download it from the site. You can do this in 2 ways, simply by clicking on it, or by clicking the 3 dots and clicking download. Okay, great. So now that we've downloaded the materials checklist, let's open it up and see what's inside. So you should be looking at a document that looks just like this. And within this, there's 3 main areas of things that we need from you in order to participate in this study. The first is a signed Master Services Agreement. It's more than likely that you've already done this and shared this with Strada in order to get access to the FTP website. But if you haven't, please send that over to them immediately. The next is an informational JOT form. You can access that by clicking the JOT form button or by pasting the URL into your browser. But let's just talk really quick about what that entails. So once you click on this button, you'll see the form, which has various areas. The first one is related to a question that we ask about skills. There's some standard skills that every single respondent across institutions will be asked. That's what these ones up here. But then we're also giving you the opportunity to ask up to 5 custom skills, and they could come from soft skills or hard skills that relate more to what you're interested in learning. So just select up to 5 of these bottom ones. Then you'll see that we want to know a little bit more information about the total number of alumni that have earned a bachelor's degree from your institution since July 1st, 2000 up until June 30th of last year. We'll want to know the number of the bachelor degree earning alumni during this time period that you plan to invite to participate in this study. We'll also want to know a little bit more about how your alumni database breaks out by gender, fiscal year, and age. In addition, we'll also be looking for some information about engagement, so some typical response rates, some protocols to follow for engagement. We'll look for an individual of importance for whom it looks like the survey is coming from and the pre-notification are coming from when we send those emails on your behalf. There's a pre-notification template in there with some language that we would recommend, but you are Obviously, you have the choice to upload your own pre-notification language that matches the tone of your alumni communications. And then we'll also want some general branding from you in terms of a school logo that will go in the email communications, but also on the survey itself. And then finally, a link to the alumni database, which we can include at the end of the survey for alumni to click on. So that's pretty much all there is in the JOT form. And then the last thing is the completed sample form. We'll come back to this after we go through the JOT form. But for now, let's scroll back up and let's either click on the JOT form button or let's copy and paste this URL into your browser, and we'll go and look at what the JOT form looks like on the website itself. So I just clicked the button for the JOT form from the materials checklist, and now I'm on this website. And this is kind of going to be everything that we just talked about in one space. So first of all, I just need your contact information and email, as well as the name of your school. Then we're going to look at the skills selections. This is that one question about how respondents' time at your institution helped them to develop following skills. Remember, there's mandatory ones that you can find in the materials checklist, and then you can select up to 5 of these ones. Then we're going to look at your sample. So this is the total number of alumni that earned a bachelor's degree in that 20-year time period, how many you plan on inviting, and then in terms of your database, we need a n size and a proportion for gender, and your proportion should add up to 100 right here. And we're going to do the same thing for fiscal year and the same thing for age. Then we're going to need to know a little bit more about your alumni engagement. So we want to know, typically, when you send out surveys and general communications, first of all, what is the open rate for the email? So what percentage of the emails that go out are opened related to surveys? What about related to general communications? What percentage of surveys sent out are clicked on and taken? What percentages of general communications are clicked on and engaged with if there's something inside there for them to do so with? Then also, because we want to make sure that we're not stepping on any toes or there's any protocols that we need to know about, you can simply enter those in this text box. So please be specific in your responses. So if you have a number of reminders that you can send, for example, please put in no more than 2 reminders per week or no more than 2 reminders rather than just we have a limit on the number of reminders. That means when we send communications out, we're not going outside of the norm. So when we send out information on your behalf, we mask the emails to look like they're coming from you guys to add legitimacy. We find that this increases the likelihood that someone is going to respond to the survey. In addition to sending out a survey invite, we recommend sending out a pre-notification email 2 to 3 days in advance saying that they should expect to receive an invitation to a survey in the coming days. For that invitation itself, we recommend using, as I mentioned, a person of importance from your institution. So we need the first name, the last name, and a title to put at the bottom of those communications to add legitimacy. If you can also upload an image of a signature block to further enhance that legitimacy, that would be great. Next is the pre-notification language itself. So within this, you will see a pre-notification template that we've drafted. This covers pretty much all the essential information, but if you want to change the tone, you're more than welcome to. You just need to select that you want to use your own pre-notification language by saying upload own text, and then you need to upload a file that has your pre-notification language. Next, you will see information relating to the school. So this is just uploading your school logo, which again we utilize in the survey invitation to add legitimacy. And also they'll see it once they open the survey and they click through. It will be on the home screen of the survey. And then we want you to provide a link to the alumni database as well. So at the end of the survey, we can direct people back to your site, and they can potentially even update their contact information so you have that. And then finally, if there's anything of importance that might not fall into any of the categories above, please let us know in this text box below. Given that this is a pretty long form and there's a lot of information to collect, I'm just going to quickly show you how you can save your information and come back to finish it at a later date. So all you're going to need to do is first click on Save. then you click on skip create an account. You do not need to create an account, so please click this bottom button. After you enter in your email, just click on send link, at which point you should have then received an email from noreply@jotform.com. You might need to check your junk or your trash just in case. Then you're going to want to click on continue form when you're ready to go back into it. And then once you click on that button, it should take you back to the form. You may be prompted to select one of two buttons when you click back in. If so, recommend clicking on continue with draft if you want to continue working from where you were. Otherwise, if you click discard and start over, you'll lose everything you did previously. So just click on the right hand button if this option comes up for you. Okay, so once you've got all of this information entered, you've gone back and forth, you've saved some drafts, you've continued, you filled out all of this above, you're ready to submit. So all you need to do, instead of clicking the save button, you just click the submit button. Okay, so at this point you should have completed the JOT form, or at least know what's in that, and then you can come into the final piece, which is the completed sample form. Earlier, you might remember seeing on the server that there was that sample template file. This is really what that is. So let's go back onto the FTP site and look at that file, and we can talk about what needs to be set up. All you need to do is download that template. Again, you can either click on it, or you can click the three dots and click download. And then it will open up an Excel, and it will look exactly like this. So the main thing for your sample template that we need are just the first name of the person you want to invite to the survey, the last name, their email, and then a college or university assigned ID number. Now the ID number is really important that it's not personal identifying information for legal reasons. So it just needs to be an ID number that you can track to ensure that you know who has taken the survey on your end. The ID number should be numeric and should not include letters. That's really all you need to add into this. So when you've got that information entered that we just walked through, you're going to just need to save the file using the naming convention Strada Education Value Survey Sample, then your institution name and the date. And then we're going to go to the FTP site and we're going to upload it, and I'll show you where to go. And so let's just say I've saved it. And then I'm just going to go back onto the FTP site. I'm going to go back to home and upload materials here. And you can upload a material in one of two ways. You can either click add files, which will bring up your directory, or you can simply drag and drop it onto the screen. So it just uploads automatically. And then once it's uploaded, you'll see the file name right here. And then if you just want to alert us that that's been done, then that's all that needs to be done prior to us fielding. And then the next kind of communication you'll get from us, other than updates on how your sample is performing and your completes and how we're doing in field, is you'll open the deliverables section and you'll find your PowerPoint, some of the other data files that we owe you. And again, we'll communicate to you when those are ready. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. This should have been everything that you need to get started on this, but you're always welcome to reach out if you have any other questions. And thank you so much for participating in this study. We're really excited about this research and looking forward to getting you your results.